Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Pathfinder Kingmaker Enhanced Edition with me, BringItDon.
In due time.
Alright, so we're going to talk to a couple of people. We're going to start with Magar Varn. When he sees you, Magar gives you a polite bow. Your Grace, welcome back. How can I serve you? How do you find the capital? Magar looks around the hall squinting. It's impressive. Still, sometimes I just miss the open spaces of Dunsworth. How are things in Varnhold? Excellent, Your Grace. Everything is excellent. Sure, when everyone returned home, they were a bit uncomfortable. But after appointing a deputy and doubling the guards, the citizens began to calm down, and life started returning to normal. Magar hesitates a moment, then finally says, You saved us all, Your Grace, and I'll never be able to thank you enough for that. All I can do is serve you faithfully and ensure your efforts weren't in vain. Varnhold will stand strong, no matter what. This I promise you. Have you taken care of Varnhold's defenses? The people have already reconstructed the fort walls, even started digging a moat around the town and organizing patrols. That event was a real shock to everyone. So now every citizen of Varnhold, young or old, has been doing everything in their power to never be caught off guard again. Do you remember anything from when your soul was imprisoned? Magar freezes. I'm not sure, Your Grace. The man frowns. It was dark. Almost no space. He closes his eyes and gulps. If you don't mind, I'd rather not recall anymore. In your room, I discovered a letter containing threats. Is there something you'd like to discuss with me? Magar's face darkens. I didn't want you to know about that. I wanted to spare you from any further worries. I began receiving letters like that one since about when I sent you trading goods. Once, my men even interrogated the trader who delivered the mail, but nothing came of it. I have some assumptions of who's behind it, but as long as I have no proof, I don't want to accuse anyone. How did Jamandi react when Varnhold joined my barony? To be blunt, Your Grace, who cares? Maybe she's angry back in Restov, or crying her head off, or even celebrating. Matters not. The issue's already been settled between the two of us. I'm thinking about offering you an official position. In what way could you help me govern the country? I can't say ruling a barony used to give me much joy. There are far more enjoyable pursuits. But if there was something I really excelled at, it was managing Varnhold's treasury. If I hadn't been there, our citizens would have had to tighten their belts. Oh, well, I should go. So we can assign him as an advisor. And again, as a treasurer. So I could move Bartholomew +1 to military. So I could always put Bartholomew over here as the diplomat. It's only +2, which isn't great. What is... He's only +2 as well. The current +5 is much better than that. I mean, obviously, Jubilost. Your companions will always, I think, be better than the other NPCs. But I think I'm going to swap these. Are they busy right now? No. Do I have any projects I can do? I'll set up the Varnhold Militia. Alright, let's actually go over to... So Varnhold is pretty built up already as it is. I don't know if they have a bulletin board or not. The Varnhold Inn is unique. I don't know if they have anything else that's unique here, though. Yeah, let's build a bulletin board. Let's build up here as well, or a lighthouse. Or it'd be best to put a bulletin board. Alright, it's next to a shop already. Adjacent to a fair. Well, that counts as a tavern, right? Screw it, I'm gonna put it right there. Okay, and as I said, yeah, there I have a pier built. Alright. Not doing city management yet. Not gonna bother with that. But what I think I'll do, one more second. So again, I'm trying to keep my companions out of these positions. While he is good at this, I think I will swap them out like this. Again, I might end up regretting that, especially since the difficulty checks are going to get harder and harder as we progress. But it's the theme that I'm going for my barony this time. I don't want my companions to be in charge of the advisory positions. Alright, so can I not talk to her in here?
I'm there.
Alright, let's talk to the storyteller. Oh, we have to talk to the storyteller first about Valerie. Storyteller twitches as you approach. Ah, your grace. My stories are calling for you. Have you come to answer their call? Oh, we have some relics. Torag's marks, token of the dryads, ancient cyclops coins, Taldan warriors dog tags. Alright, I've already read of that. The fallen soldier, so yeah. Alright, tell me about the fallen soldier. I feel the damp cold of a dungeon, weapons clinking. I smell blood and soldier's footcloth. There's a dull pain in my muscles, and weariness, an endless weariness on the verge of desperation. I am a Cyclops, a soldier of the 19th Unbending Legion of the Golgon Empire. We traveled the Darklands with the mission of clearing the middle levels of the southwest sector of Serpentfolk. Over the course of the mission, we've lost a third of our contingent. Our rations run low, and our morale lower. I've heard several soldiers secretly tell each other they've lost any hope of returning home. But I stand strong. I'll endure whatever I must to return home alive, for the sake of my wife and child. But each new march, each new battle dims the thought that I'll ever see them again. I pray for the sun's protection and guidance, but can the great luminary even hear me down here? Go gone. I thought the Cyclops Empire was called Coloran. Coloran. Never heard of it. The storyteller's face twitches, and his normal voice returns. Coloran was founded by Golgon refugees several centuries later. As for why they were refugees at all, well, we'll learn that soon enough. The storyteller's face relaxes again as he returns to the story. How long have you been on your mission? Cut off from the sun and the moon, we count time by daily marches. I've lost track completely. Feels like we've spent an eternity in this underground hell. Could it be that, when I return, my son will be a graying old man with sons of his own? And them sons themselves? No, I must avoid these venomous thoughts. Do you worship the sun? Yes, of course. Do you know what raises Cyclops above the animals and other two-legged savages? The Cyclops' face has one eye, a single orb, just like the sun in the sky during the day, or the moon at night. We build majestic temples to praise the luminaries, and in return they reward us with prophetic visions. The lesser races may roam in the dark, but the Cyclopes are capable of seeing truth. Why do you wage war against the Serpentfolk? By the order of our Empress, Zelekti Neverdoes. With her own hands, she destroyed their Danir, Garkatar, and beheaded their leader. The Darklands will be ours soon. Maybe once we've purged it of Serpentfolk, we can find a way to bring some sunlight down here. Alright, go on. Our mission continues. We've lost half our contingent, but we still have no orders to turn back. The soldiers' desperation is becoming open indignation. If we're outside in this situation, I'm convinced half the unit would have deserted by now. But here we are, and there's nowhere to run. I listen to the soldiers talking, and I don't like what I hear. This underground hell has changed them. They don't look to the luminaries for help anymore. Rumor has it that some of them have secretly begun praying to the Serpentfolk's gods. Worse than barbarism, this is pure insanity. But wasn't this mission itself insane, in hindsight? What beings do the Serpentfolk worship? I don't know, and I don't wish to. Who could possibly be worthy of worshipping in these fetid catacombs where sunlight can never reach? Devils or demons, if I had to guess. We've seen some of their unholy shrines, and they were enough to make even seasoned veterans sick. Flayed skins, bowls of blood and entrails, altars made of bones. And this done to their own kin, to other serpent folk. I can't imagine what they do to their captives. Did you kill many serpent folk? I think so. I don't know the exact numbers. That filth doesn't practice honest combat. They move through secret passages to ambush us, attacking from behind, or above, or below. We've decimated many of their nests, but they still keep coming. Alright, go on. The Legion rebelled. An officer caught some of the soldiers offering sacrifice to the serpent folk's gods, and he ordered them arrested and executed. But he had no idea how deep the contagion had spread. Many soldiers refused to follow his orders. The group stood facing each other, swords bared, loyalists against traitors. I should stand by my commanding officer, die beside him, as a loyal soldier of the Empire. But I'm scared. Oh, son, I'm so scared. I don't want to die here, underground. I want to see my wife and son again. I couldn't say a single word. I couldn't even move while they butchered our commanding officer and the soldiers who remained loyal to him. But that couldn't save me from what happened next. They declared the slain as sacrifices to the serpent folk's gods, and each of us had to taste the flesh of the sacrificed or share in their fate. Salty blood runs down my lips. I choke down slimy meat and clap my hands to my mouth to keep myself from puking. Sun and moon can't help us here, and I raise my prayer to new gods. My legs won't hold me, so I kneel, and I feel them. I feel they're here, with me. They stand around me, the cold palms on my forehead, and my fear subsides. I'll return home. Isn't that what I was praying for? Won't you end up executed for treason? Not if they never learn of it. We all agreed on the story we'd tell our commanders when we returned. Our operation was successful. The Legion suffered heavy losses. The commanding officer was killed in action, so the next in command took his place and ordered us to head back. We did. That's all. Do you still sacrifice Cyclopes? Just once or twice. Now we try to capture serpent folk alive and sacrifice them instead. I've even developed a taste for snake meat. The underground gods turned away from that scum. Their new followers are far superior. Such power and glory these new gods can bring to the Empire. We could even challenge Aslan itself. Alright, go on. On the upper levels, we rejoined the main force of our army. We reported the cleansing operation as a success. No one doubted our story of the officer's glorious death. Not that I'm surprised. It seems our legion wasn't the only one to accept the protection of the underground gods. Some soldiers even pray to them openly, and our superiors turn a blind eye to it. Finally, we make it back to the surface. I breathe fresh air deep into my lungs. Like a crimson eye, the huge ball of light glares down on me from the sky. I shut my eye, for I'm no longer used to sunlight. Tears run down my face. No matter. It's all right. I'll be home soon. I must thank the gods for my safe return. Maybe my son would make a good sacrifice. What happened to Golgon after that? As so often happens, while the serpent folk may have lost the war with the Cyclopes, they won victory over their souls. Soon, dark cults spread throughout the Golgon Empire, replacing the traditional worship of celestial deities. Sacrifice of Cyclopes, public tortures, and ritual cannibalism became commonplace. The Empire began to decay. How was Coloran founded? Seeing the Empire dying, some Cyclopes fled to what is now known as Iobaria. They hoped to preserve the culture of Old Golgon, to build a new country free of the dark cults. But as before, the contagion was already too deep. Coloran proved to just be a lesser copy of Golgon. And then the Earthfall came. Skies had fallen down, ending the Cyclope civilization, along with so many others. Well, thank you for the story. Alright, restore the Cloak of Sold Souls for me. Boom. The storyteller places scraps of leather covered with unrecognizable inscriptions before him. The story you want to learn is truly terrible. Even more terrible could be the destiny of any person who dares wear this cloak. But as you wish. I impart a remnant of my gift into this cloak, so it will be able to recount to you the crimes of its creator. Alright, the captain of the guard told me you had a fight with Valerie. The storyteller lowers his head sorrowfully. Alas, this is true. Believe me, I didn't want to fight, but my full curiosity wounded Valerie's pride. I'll apologize to her the first chance I get. What was the fight about? I asked Valerie if she still had anything related to the Eternal Rose Order, from back when she was a novice. An innocent question, but she took it as impudence, or insult. Please don't blame her. I'm to blame for what happened. Oh, this poor storyteller. Do you think Valerie has been acting strange lately? What can I say? We're not that close. She has no interest in the things that matter to me, and I prefer the world of ancient heroes and old legends, not the fuss that's all around us here and now. So I don't have an answer to your question. But I know that those who consider Valerie a close companion might be hurt by her words. Yesterday I talked to Lindsay, and when I mentioned Valerie, I heard sorrow and tears in her voice. Maybe the tireless chronicler is having a tough time for the very same reason that you honored me with your visit today. Alright, well that's all I wanted to know. Storyteller nods to you. Alright, the Cloak of Sold Souls. Alright, I gotta take a sip of coffee before I continue reading. Alright. Long ago, even before Earthfall, a rich man lived in the empire of Cyclopes called Coloran. He possessed anything he could ever wish for an ample supply. Money, fertile lands, slaves. But envy still gnawed at him, for his neighbor had even more. With the dream of destroying his rival, the man raised a prayer to Famine, one of the four horsemen, dreadful deities who were worshipped in Coloran. The deity demanded bloody sacrifice, and the rich man was all too happy to obey. He wrote his agreement with the horsemen on skin ripped from a living Cyclops, one of his slaves, and signed it with his own blood. Famine signed the agreement as well, and in an instant, the neighbors' fields and orchards were filled with swarms of rats. The rich man rejoiced, but not for long. After decimating the neighbors' crops, the rats moved on to his own lands. So the man prayed to another horseman, War, for help. The deity demanded their agreement be written on the skin of the rich man's favorite servant, an old butler who'd served the family his entire life. The rich man felt pity for his old friend, but he had to act quickly. So he skinned his butler, and as soon as War signed the agreement, packs of wolves rushed into his lands. The wolves quickly devoured the rats, and then began attacking the slaves. Seeing his riches melting away, the rich man appealed to the third horseman, Pestilence, for help. To eliminate the wolves, Pestilence demanded that the rich man sacrifice his concubines. The rich man loved his woman very much, but he valued his lands more. After the agreement was signed on the concubine's skin, Pestilence unleashed swarms of flies upon the estate. The flies began spreading all kinds of disease, wiping out animals and Cyclopes alike. As the rich man pulled his hair out in despair, the fourth horseman, Death, came with a proposal to return all of his riches in exchange for the lives of all of his family. After the man skinned his loved ones, Death signed the agreement, and all who died previously rose once again. The rich man's slaves, the flies, the wolves, the rats, and even the trees in his orchards. They were all vicious undead now. Once the Emperor learned of this, he sent his guards to the estate, and after a series of long and difficult battles, they burned the estate to the ground. A cloak was crafted from the skins that had been used for the vile agreements. The Emperor's guards placed a cloak around the rich man's shoulders and chased him through all of Coloran with whips until the cloak and flesh it covered had been torn to tatters. That would have been the end of this story, but after thousands of years, someone found the pieces of this cloak and restored it, deciding to play with dark powers at their own peril. So, the cloak gives a -4 penalty to the wearer's constitution score, adds a +2 to the wearer's caster level when they cast a necromancy school or summoning subtype spell, for the purpose of calculating all level variable effects of that spell. It also grants its wearer +2 bonus to necromancy school spells DC. It grants the ability to cast Vampiric Touch spell 3 times per day, with a caster level equal to the character's level. And unequipping this cloak is only possible after casting a Remove Curse spell on the wearer and passing a difficulty check 25 caster level check. Failing this check kills the wearer immediately and summons a hostile Thana demon. If the wearer has reached the 20th level, it summons a hostile Astra demon instead. So it's a cursed item, which I'm kind of disappointed there isn't more of in this game, considering all the curses. Dragon Quest has I really like Dragon Quest's cursed item system. But anyway, Just a moment, I just got something. Lindsay quickly scribbles something in her notebook, then raises her eyes and smiles at you. Hi. Have you noticed anything strange about Valerie lately? Lindsay lingers, then sighs dully. I had a fight with her. A big one. Well, I wanted to talk to her about the best way to describe her hair color in the book, and she said my book is trash, and I'd be no better if I busied my time with, I won't even repeat it. Well, how could she hurt you like that? Yes, I mean, wait. Lindsay licks her lips. I wasn't hurt, it's just... oh, it doesn't matter. To be honest, Valerie hasn't been herself lately. She's usually polite, though she can be cold at times. But now it's like she's changed. It's all after, you know. Lindsay gathers her strength. After she got that scar. I talked to her before, and she wasn't very nice that time either. She's gotten so spiteful after she got hurt, that she keeps saying she doesn't care. Alright, well, let's talk to Valerie. Just a quick save before I do it.
Adventures can wait.
Valerie nods to you cordially. Glad to see you. Valerie, we need to talk. You've been acting strange lately. If you're going to bring up that scene in the throne room, don't waste your breath. Evold completely deserved that speech. I know you had a fight with the storyteller, and you yelled at Lindsay. Yeah, why did you think that pasquinade next to the tavern entrance was about you? Who else could it have been about? That scribbler used to never leave me alone. Dogged my heels, asking questions whenever I appeared in on the street. And now, Valerie stops angrily and looks away. I know you had a fight with the storyteller, and you yelled at Lindsay. The storyteller, what business of his if I have anything left from the order? Does he imagine I'm still carrying around Shaylin's radiant face as a souvenir? And as for Lindsay, she knows full well how her constant babbling about her book irritates me. Well, Captain of the Guard said you were taking it out on random people. Valerie narrows her eyes. So the Captain of the Guard thinks I'm incapable of carrying out my duties to you and your subjects. Perhaps he should change his armor for a judge's mantle, if he's so ready to declare such verdicts. Listen to yourself. Why all this bile? I want to help you. Valerie twists her lips and looks away, as if she wants to end the conversation. I'll wait. When the girl starts talking again, her voice sounds soft. Please forgive me, Don Victus. I understand your worries. My behavior over the last few weeks has indeed left much to be desired. I don't know why I'm doing these things. Lindsay thinks you're concerned about the scar. So typical of her. A superficial opinion, a superficial conclusion. Valerie sighs. Forgive me. It's difficult to admit I was wrong. And scatterbrained Lindsay is apparently right. The girl hesitates, lifts her hand and touches a scar on her face. Since it appeared, it's like the world around me has changed. Wherever I went before, my admirers, followers, and bards used to follow me around. And now it's like I'm invisible. Worse, I see how those I talk to try hard not to look at the scar. It's like it undid me. Completely. Valerie stops again, absently running the tips of her fingers over the ugly scar on her face. She finally pulls her hand from her face and looks at you. I've never seriously imagined what would happen if I lost my beauty. I thought my actions would speak much louder than my appearance, but now I'm having doubts. In this and in everything else I keep telling myself. Yeah, you've already said that beauty isn't really important. Are you changing your views now? Valerie looks at you pensively for a few moments, then shakes her head with determination. No. If I'm to break when someone looks at me askance, after everything I've been through, it means I've never actually been worth anything. I may as well have stayed with the Order and lived meekly by Shaylin's orders. Ugh. Valerie straightens her shoulders and looks around with determination. I shouldn't have wasted time on these useless thoughts. I promise that you won't be bothered again by complaints about me. Except perhaps from those who truly deserve a harsh response. The girl nods to you. Thank you for this conversation. I knew you would support me. How are things with the storyteller and Lindsay? Valerie chuckles. Satisfactory. It appears that the storyteller has thought it best to leave me alone, which I do not mind at all. Lindsay, Valerie shrugs her shoulder. I expect I'll never have any influence over her inappropriate enthusiasm about her book. Alright. Let's head out. I'm gonna...
do what I must.
I do want to head to the tavern. I want to try and talk to Amiri. I know that I probably won't be able to do her quest anyway. I thought about editing my save files. But honestly, it kind of gives me a reason to get rid of her and start using like Ekendio again.
Adventures can wait.
And then I wanted to talk to Harem. See if he has anything to say before we head out. And Knock Knock. Oh, sorry, I smashed my foot on my chair. Then the order that I'm going to do the quest, I'm going to go and deal with Knock Knock's quest at Oleg's trading post. Then we'll do Harem's quest, and then we'll head west to Glenabon to deal with the barbarian incursion.
I'm off.
Is he further south? There he is. Let's see, you're not too happy about seeing your kin, are you? Harem fiddles with his beard pensively. Well, it's not as if I'm holding a grudge against the whole dwarven race. In Brevoy, the River Kingdoms, and the Stolen Lands, I'm always rather happy to see one of us. Exiles like me, or those who left their homeland voluntarily in search of a better life. Or even those who were born here and have never seen the mountains. I hold nothing against them. But the Skeggi, you see, Don Victus, they aren't just dwarves. They are envoys from my homeland and Tuareg himself. Like everyone who exiled me, who humiliated me, everyone I left behind, all of them have come back to torture me. They carry the spirit of the Five Kings Mountains with them, a spirit that is more nauseating to me than the stench of a corpse. I don't know why I bring up the anvil there. We've already talked about that. Do they have anything to say? I think we're all caught up with these guys. Alright, let's go... check on Jubilost. Oh yeah, we need to go talk to the Sweet Teeth. Alright, order us to go collect the moon from the sky. We can do anything. The Linorm's grave is in terrible condition. Polish all the bones to a shine. Linorm bones, that's great. Can we take a few souvenirs? Shame on you. The Baron trusted us with his bones, and you're not going to steal them. Don't you worry, your grace. We'll take care of your bones. They'll be as shiny as new. Grabbing their travel bags, the young tieflings run away. So I don't think that I can romance Canera anymore. Well, I say that, but it's possible that we can. We just haven't done her second companion quest yet. Which should pop up in this next chapter, if I'm not mistaken. Alright, talk to Ekendio, then we'll talk to Knock Knock, who's over here. So I don't think we've talked to Knock Knock anyway since he's come to stay with us, so we'll do all of his conversation. Oh, stuff real quick.
Adventures can wait.
Alright, one of Knock Knock's ears perk up at your approach. He affixes you with a single eye, and waits. I'd like to know more about you. Knock Knock smiles. Come to right place. He jabs his thumb into his own chest, then narrows his eyes at you suspiciously. But depend on what you want knowing you want. Okay. How do you get the name Knock Knock? Knock on the Knock looks sheepish, then his eyes narrow as if remembering. Sound when others hit my head, with rocks and sticks and boards. Make knocking noise. Give me lumps. Usually hit me 2 times. He rubs his skull, which you now notice resembles a tiny cluster of knobby, calloused hills. He then gives a feral grin. But I show them. Be hero. Then I knock them. I hope you gave as good as you get. As good as you got. Knock Knock nods his head eagerly. Yes, hero come. Then, Knock Knock show tribe what hero is. Was good day. Yes, I was there. But tribe hitting me, giving me name. Knock Knock makes face. You think. It's hard to tell. It Knock Knock's fault, though. Mom not raised Knock Knock in cage. Let him run around, get in adventures. Who is your mother? Knock Knock shrugs. Not know. One day realize I am wandering around. Go find other goblins. Then, he wraps his head twice. Knock knock. What do you mean you were not raised in a cage? Knock Knock nods, then gives you a pitying look. You Longshanks raise your Shortshanks bad. Goblins raise right. Keep children in cage until bigger. It's smart way to raise kids. Not wail and cry unless put spiders in cage. Or snakes. Do you miss your village? Knock Knock frowns, then lights up. The village. Then his expression breaks and he sighs wistfully. Yes, smelled like toads. Beasts ate bad goblins. Children kept in cages. All as should be. His face lights up again. But at least no see Chief again. That good. Alright, enough talking about you. Enough, he nods. I'd like to ask you about goblins. Knock Knock blinks with his right eye, then with his left one. We'll ask. Why do you mangle words? Knock Knock peers at you, then shakes his head slowly. Not us, you. You Longshanks and Halfshanks are drunk with words. Use too many, like cloud of flies out of your mouth. All that noise make it hard to listen to you. See, hear you. Knock Knock raises a hand and flaps it, pantomiming talking. Me Baron, greet word, ask, words, more words, then boring words. The hand slows, then dips, making snoring noises. And me now asleep. Not your fault. Knock Knock gives you a pitying look as he tucks his hand away. Knock Knock help if can, but at you who not talk right. Longshanks and Halfshanks think goblins half-headed, no brain. But you are the half-heads who drink too many words and vomit them out. Don't tell that Halfshank Lindsay. Are there other goblins who speak common better than you? Other goblins? Knock Knock glares at you, then raises his nose, then pinches it as if smelling something foul. Other tribes, they put on big show, add extra words, waste everyone's time. He moves his fingers from his nose and shakes his head, then gives a sinister grin, as if about to tell a ghost story. Reading Knock Knock's dialogue is so difficult. I still say you all mangle your speech. You're worse than most of your kin. Legends say other goblins steal words from Knock Knock's tribe. He glances around quickly, then leans in with a whisper. Not true. They speak more words, but it is because they are all cursed to do so. He stands proudly, his eyes closed as if at attention. In Stolen Lands, goblins speak correct. As if trying to prove his point, Knock Knock remains silent, his eyes closed. After a moment, one of his ears pricks up, and he cracks an eyelid open slightly to see if you're still there, then shuts it. Do you have some problem with Lindsay? Knock Knock wrinkles his nose. The visual is horrific. Lindsay smells gross, like spring flowers. Has tiny ears, never files teeth, combs hair all shiny, washes self in clothes. He shudders. Write in book all time. Oh, is that all? Hicked. Knock Knock shakes his head violently and makes a vomiting motion. Other Halfshanks, they just squealing blood bags waiting to pop. But Lindsay like Chatterfly. Knock Knock rolls eyes. Lindsay, right. He folds his arms, then huffs under his breath. She's seeing bad too. So what's wrong with writing? What wrong with writing? Knock Knock stares at you as if a frog just hopped out of your mouth. All goblins know why. It steals think thoughts, takes them away. He shudders again. Lindsay do it all the time, but somehow she still have think thoughts. Why'd she have so many? So no wedding then? What? No. Knock Knock not want wife. He makes a gagging motion. Not her. Gross. Getting sick. You step back. He generally looks like he's about to vomit. Wait, no. Swallowed it back. All good. Knock Knock licks his lips. I'll tell her you said that. Knock Knock eyes widen. He seems genuinely terrified. Or not tell her that. No. She write in book. Curse knock knock. Right. You don't like Lindsay. Enough about her. So what's wrong with writing? We've already talked about that. If goblins don't write, how do you remember anything? Knock knock stares at you for several moments. Then a few more. Finally he leans in and whispers. Why you stare at me? Do I have a bug on my face? I've heard goblins sing. It's infamous. Knock knock frowns. What? Like, knock knock kick fast, knock knock bite deep, knock knock stab you while you sleep? There's a long uncomfortable silence as knock knock stares at you, dragging his finger across his blade as if coaxing it to sleep. Knock knock finally breaks the silence by shaking his head. No, songs make ears hurt. Want to bury head in the dirt. But that was a rhyme, and a song. That? A song it not what you thought. Okay. You just did it again, on purpose. You say what? I know not. A mischievous flicker flashes across Knock Knock's eyes. Let's see. What will you do now? Knock Knock looks at you, then frowns, as if sizing you up. Be a hero. Knock Knock teach you, you teach Knock Knock. He gives a grin that nearly splits his face. You see, yes. Oh, that was something else. I'm actually going to run back into, well, I want to rest before I do anything else. Before we start journeying around the Stolen Lands again. I want to go back to the Kingdom Management. I want to see, because I changed my treasure around. But it's time to upgrade the treasure. So I'm wondering if it's going to let me upgrade the new treasurer, or if it's going to be locked into the old treasurer. Oh, cool. Okay, so it does. Cool. I wasn't sure how that would work. Rosa, she's still there. Is there another? Yeah, it's only these two. So we're still missing two. We need the Magister and we need the Espionage or Spy, whatever it's called. Alright, well I think I'm going to call it here. In the next episode, we'll leave the capital. There's been a lot of words spoken the past couple of episodes. But it's a healthy break from adventuring, because we spent a long time questing. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to bring Amiri with me anymore. We need to bring Knock Knock anyway for his quest, and I think I'm going to bring Ekendio. Because I love Ekendio is my favorite companion in the game, so since we can't do her quests, I kind of just don't want to have anything to do with her now. Alright, and I'm going to call it here. The next episode, we'll head north to Oleg's, take care of Knock Knock's quest. Then we'll start heading west to the Lost Dwarven Fortress. Then even further west to the Flintrock Grassland. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope to see you guys in the next episode.